Rest in peace to actress Laura Park Lincoln, who played Tina in Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. Tina's not necessarily one of my favorite final girls from one of the big three horror slashers from the 80s, but she definitely held her own against one of the strongest Jasons there was. One of the strongest actors portrayed Jason, that being Kane Hodder, with her telekinetic powers. That's a lot to unpack, but I kind of feel like she as an actress was having fun with that role. And the supernatural element definitely made this one stand out to me. Okay, so what is this video? This video I'm posting, as we come down right over here, there are my Goosebumps Haunted Mask and Wolfman Mask, is a response video to something that was posted by Mel of My Killer Podcast from about a year ago, and it's basically just the top 9 rad movies from my childhood. So what we have here, and number 1 is the first movie I ever saw on VHS, which is Steven Spielberg's Jaws. Now, Jaws, this is the one that really got me into loving movies just in general. I've said it multiple times in videos before this, and really not a whole lot to say about Jaws. That hasn't been said already. Jaws is a great movie. A masterpiece. Okay, now this guy right here, what we have is James Cameron's Aliens. My favorite of the franchise. Best sequel ever made. I've loved this movie since high school, pretty much. And then, of course, behind that, we have my favorite movie of all time, Back to the Future, the Back to the Future collection. These are 2 honorable mentions I just felt needed to go there beside Jaws. Because Jaws. Okay. Number 2 in my rads from my childhood is we have honorable mention of Batman 89, but also inside of this guy, this one's very special to me, is the Batman 1966 movie with Adam West, where him and Burt Ward, the Boy Wonder, went up against 4 classic villains, which was Catwoman, played by Lee Merriweather, Riddler, played by Frank Gorshin, Burgess Meredith's the Penguin, Cesar Romero's the Joker. Hi, Starla. I have vivid memories of just completely destroying that VHS when I was younger, just watching it over and over and over again. It's a campy movie now, seeing it as an adult, but I feel nostalgic for it because it was just there in my childhood with Batman 89. And I mean, looking back at it as an adult now, that's honestly really good writing there. Having 4 villains as opposed to 1 or 2, and them each having a fair amount of screen time together as a whole. So each one kind of had their own thing that they were bringing to the plot. Nobody felt under or overutilized in it because they were just having fun with the campiness of it. Okay. And then, also too, since I have my Gremlins 2 NECA Mogwais right there with me, that's Mogwai Mohawk and Mogwai Daffy. Gremlins 2 is an honorable mention here because it was just another one of my favorite movies as a child. I vividly remember completely destroying that VHS as well. It was just, I love Gremlins, but Gremlins 2 has a soft spot in my heart because it was so out there hilarious with everything that was going on and the Gremlins just having fun and the people behind the scenes just having fun with the animatronics. It was just so bonkers out there. And Joe Dante, just as a director, just really had fun with the commentary of just letting his creations have full reign of it. And it was probably one of just the greatest things ever when I was a child. Okay, and then final honorable mention, lumped in with number 2, is the Transformers movie. As I said before, this movie, I pretty much destroyed this VHS as well, watching it over and over again as a child. I have such fond memories of just going back and rewatching so many different sections of this movie, especially the destruction of Autobot City sequence, where you just see Autobots and Decepticons going at each other and animators just having fun, showing what each robot can do, can't do. It was just cut the best way possible for me when I was a child. Okay, now, honorable mention number 3. Oh, actually, I should say top spot number 3 in my Rad 9. Movie I probably have watched the most in my life, which is the original Jurassic Park, which is inside of the Dominion cover because I really like that Dominion cover. Spielberg's greatest. I don't have a whole lot to say that would add to it. It's just a movie that I loved because it was dinosaurs and it was the beginnings of CGI, so there were still practical effects kind of in it. And also, too, another honorable mention lumped in with this one is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie. I distinctly have a very fond memory of watching that one in theaters, because I remember seeing it with my dad in the 90s. I would have been about maybe... Yeah, I would have been about like 6, 7-ish years old when that one came out, I believe. Yeah, like 6 or 7-ish. Yeah, I believe I would have been 6 or 7-ish. And I distinctly remember the beginning of that movie, like 5 minutes in, when the turtles first come out to protect April. All of a sudden, the movie cut out. Like, the reel just split, basically. So me and my dad were just kind of in the theater in the dark while they were trying to splice it back together again. And just a fond memory. Kind of like a very early memory that I have there of seeing that in the theaters. Okay. And then also another fond memory of about... if it was 97, so I'm talking maybe when I was about 13, 14, maybe 15 years old, when they re-released the Star Wars films. I remember seeing specifically Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope with my sister in theaters. I didn't see Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi, but that was my first experience seeing Star Wars on a big screen. I remember getting the VHS for Empire Strikes Back before Star Wars A New Hope, and seeing that before this one. But Star Wars, my first time really seeing it was that time in theaters with my sister, and that was awesome. Okay, number 4 in my rad is Billy Zane as the Phantom. It's just something I feel so much nostalgia for. It's like my favorite aspects of what makes Indiana Jones works, mixed in with a superhero. And as corny as this movie is now as an adult, I will always feel nostalgic love for the Phantom. And I mean, without this film and Billy Zane here, we would not have gotten something a little later in my rad favorites here. Okay, and then also another honorable mention right here. The best release I have for this one here, the Super Mario Brothers movie, 1993. This is the one cut that also has the work print that was released by Umbrella Entertainment. Campy movie. As I said, it's an honorable mention, lumped in here with The Phantom. I loved this VHS when I was growing up. And then also, another honorable mention here is Dick Tracy, another superhero type movie that came out around the time that Batman really just blew up what action superhero movies can be. Kind of, this one just rode on the coattails of that one. Awesome movie. Okay, so number 5 in my rad picks. We have my VHS copy here of A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Now, Freddy was the first one of the big 3 that I saw that really got me into loving horror movies. I picked Dream Warriors because this is just the best blend of what Wes Craven wanted Freddy to be and what Robert Englund helped bring to the character to make him work. And this was still early enough in the Nightmare on Elm Street lore where Freddy didn't just become a caricature of the scary Freddy that he started as. So, also, kick-ass soundtrack here. So, rad pick, number 4, number 5, I should say, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Okay, now, number 6, I got a couple different guys right here. So, rad pick number 6, Lucio Fulci's The Beyond. Now, this was when I met my high school buddy, Patrick Carrico. Awesome guy, awesome musician, and a bro. He got me into zombie movies, so The Beyond is my pick for that awesome cover work on that guy, I decided. But we also got Fulci's Zombie, which was the international name for what would become Dawn of the Dead. Right there. Well, the spiritual sequel to Dawn of the Dead overseas. Now, as I said, zombie movies, Patrick's the one that really got me into like the zombie horror and Romero as a director. So without him, I would not have my love for what makes a good zombie movie work. Now, what we got here is my anthology horrors now. So we have number 7 in my favorites, which is Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. I love Tales from the Crypt growing up as a child, so this is just... As I said, Billy Zane would make his reappearance here, and he was the collector in this one, and also the Phantom. So without the Phantom, you don't get roles like the collector in Demon Knight or the villain in Titanic, because he was also the villain in Titanic, and his role in this one is what gave Cameron the confidence to vouch for him to be in Titanic. And then another honorable mention, because we're talking anthologies right now, and Tales from the Crypt, and my love for Tales from the Crypt, since it's my favorite show of all time. This is where we got Creepshow as an honorable mention. Stephen King, George A. Romero. I love the hell out of my VHS on this one, and this is the best release I have for Creepshow. Okay. Now, number 8 in my rad from my childhood is Kevin Smith's Mallrats. Kevin Smith, to me, he was the first really big director who wasn't Spielberg, whose filmology I just got into. I choose Mallrats to put in my rad because I used to have this particular poster variant in my bedroom when I was growing up as a child. I really love that comic aspect of it. Mallrats, to me, I would honestly feel if I was any of Kevin Smith's creations that I would be Brody, the comic book lover guy. That just feels like that suits me. And then, of course, you also have maybe my favorite Kevin Smith movie of all time, Dogma. Very underrated movie for Kevin Smith. Also very sad that you don't see very much physical media for this guy, because the rights for the longest time were owned by Weinstein when Kevin Smith directed this movie. So Weinstein was holding on to it. Those rights issues have now resolved themselves. It went back to Kevin Smith, and he's releasing Dogma in 4K in theaters this year, and also in a new Blu-ray as well. But I still hold on to this one because that is some great comic art right there, and Dogma is a classic from when I was a high school era. And then, of course, we have my screenplay for Clerks and Chasing Amy. Okay, and then my last pick for my Rad 9, The Fifth Element from 1997. Honestly, this movie is sci-fi gold right here. And Luc Besson, he did an amazing job creating this movie that he basically got the idea for when he was in high school, and then fully realized it in 97 in crafting this movie for what it was. Awesome movie, awesome cast, really, really awesome. Alright guys, that's all I gotta say. Hey princess! And then to close out, I'm just going to say peace as always.